Hello everybody, it's Ryan, my channel is Endless Journey. What an interesting day. I somehow got an interview here with Bridget Nielsen.
Yes.
AKA Bridge ET of Sedona, Arizona. Hi Bridget, how are you?
Good, how are you, Ryan? I'm
great. I'm having a nice day in Sedona, Arizona, in Bridget's home, kind of. And it's just been a great day here, super nice. And thank you for having me in your home.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just started talking with Bridget a little bit before the interview. And I always find I have lots to talk to her about. So the purpose of this video is I just want to give an introduction to Bridget through my channel, anybody who doesn't know her. So, boy, it's a very long bio. It could be.
Yeah,
but,
it could be. You can keep it short.
Okay. So you're originally from California.
Utah.
Utah.
And then California.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, where in Utah?
Salt Lake City.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so just north
I think
of
I
Moab.
heard you speak about like Mormons and stuff in some of your videos.
Yeah.
Were you a religious person growing up?
No.
Or?
No. We had it was more science-based.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
But you weren't Christian?
No.
Weren't Mormon?
No.
Were you alternative or just nothing?
I guess we would say nothing, but I guess it would actually be more scientific, based. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. And then you went to California and you went to school for fine art?
Yeah.
What city was that in?
In Malibu, California.
Malibu. I don't know if you can't really see it in the video, but Bridget's art is behind us here. Yeah. And the whole room has it's great. It's like kind of abstract. This kind of like a portal, like a vortex. A lot of turquoise. Yeah. Is there any significance to the turquoise? We're in Arizona. Turquoise is very popular.
Yeah, there's sky blue and there's turquoise. Those are the only two blue tones in Arizona. And I needed to accentuate those to bring some cooling to the red rocks, you know?
That's true, I never thought about it.
Yeah, long term when it gets really hot in the summer and then you're in the red rocks, it's so much yang and fire energy.
Right.
So that's why we painted our place with turquoise walls. I want it really cooling, for my energy when I come back in.
Yeah, I never thought of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a thing.
It's just generally like turquoise as a color in general.
Me too, yeah.
Yeah, it's just has a nice vibration to it.
Yeah.
So you made art. I think you worked at Disney or something like this, and you were heading down this path of that could be your career. Yeah. And then what happened?
And then I was like, I'm not going to. It just I was anxious and, answering phone calls or text messages and emails at 3 a.m. on Saturdays.
But you had this whole life that was just set that you could still be on that path today.
Yeah, it was a very successful kind of marketing path, and it was just this is crazy. People are... It was
too much for you?
Yeah.
It just didn't fit what you needed?
Yeah.
And then what happened?
And then I quit. And then...
But what about your introduction to YouTube? You had, I don't know, in my mind it's one video, but it could have been maybe a few videos.
Yeah. Yeah, after I quit that job, and then I was like, you know what, spirit. And so I did lots of trainings and just went on my spiritual journey and just explored all facets of that, and then I started YouTube and did a video or two, and then I got the first video, you're right, got on a major radio station in Los Angeles.
Very controversial.
Very controversial
I think we'll let the viewers
maybe
do the research.
Yeah. You can find out for yourself.
Yeah, there you go. There's some homework for you, the viewer. Yeah. And I know that if it's the video I'm thinking of, it has well over 1 million hits, doesn't it?
Maybe. Yeah, that one. Yeah. Yeah.
So that was a key turning point for you. Yeah. And if I were in your position, I would have had some very intense feelings and. That decision changed the trajectory of your life pretty much. Yeah, for sure. To go down the YouTube way.
To go down the YouTube path, and then also the trajectory of not caring what people think.
Yeah.
That was a huge piece of it, where it was like, you know what, I'm going to speak my truth, and people can hate me for it, but I realized actually they did like me for it.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know, I'm just going to keep on going.
You got much more positivity than not.
Yeah, and I've continued to this day.
So that was like a force that pushed, like, enticed you forward to do more.
There was some positive reinforcement there, and I followed it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
I certainly have gotten a lot out of Bridget's videos over the years. Yeah, I just was kind of going to YouTube looking for some inspirational words, and Bridget provided those to me. I later she does also retreats here in Sedona and also in Hawaii and where else? In Scotland?
Everywhere, actually.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
And I did one of them, and it was fantastic. And I'm here again after. But, so nowadays your channel is just Bridget Nielsen?
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah. Me.
And what do you focus on mostly? And I know it's been a long history.
Yeah.
But like kind of more like right now.
Recent.
Right?
Yeah. I would say it's like grounding in really practical techniques for personal development and spiritual awareness. It's not very general. It's like very specific tools at this point, with like how we were talking, like how to like, you know, manage your energy as like a sensitive person, and
as
like
an
tools
empath.
to like clear your energy field and stuff. And then practical, esoteric tools to develop your etheric body and to understand lucid dreaming and like different things like that. And then personal things that are just gonna like make you a better person. Like that's what I've come to, is like there's really cool out there things that are controversial and very interesting. But when it comes down to it, like being a good person and like understanding yourself and understanding your energy and then how to work with other people and express yourself is pretty much fundamental.
Yeah.
So I was like, actually, I think that's of the most value.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So
you made it kind of more appealing to more of, you know, to more people, to a greater audience than not so obscure.
The funny thing is, I think it is a bigger audience, but like there's less of this kind of like exciting intrigue around it. So it's kind of maybe less exciting.
Mm-hmm.
And there are a lot of people like thrive off these controversial subjects
Oh,
and
right.
stuff.
To get big amounts of views.
To get big amounts of views and stuff. And for me, I'm like, that's not maybe serving people.
Right. So you're generally giving what you think will most help people.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Okay, so some of those categories, you know, I know you're into high vibe diet.
Yeah.
And sometimes you'll speak about how the food we eat in our lifestyle can allow us to work on other things beyond that.
Yeah.
For our self-development.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's like, when we're having like dense, dead, like GMO pesticide-ridden food, you know, just generally like on a long-term basis, people can survive somehow. Like they can do well, and they can maybe even be like generally kind of healthy.
Yes.
But I feel that it shuts down like deeper subtlety and like spiritual capacity, feeling capacities, like gifts, guidance, like all of those pieces. So it closes down the subtle realms. And this isn't like, you know, if you have one time, like, you know, McDonald's or something, you're going to be okay. But it's more of like a long-term, like...
Put everything in your favor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, lifestyle.
And, you know, you live in a place, you've chosen to live in a place that is like a high vibe place in and of itself.
Yeah.
The vortex is here in Sedona and just a natural beauty. Just living here alone is very inspirational.
Yes.
You have a pretty high vibe partner.
Yes.
Patrick.
Yeah.
Okay, that was a good choice.
Thank you.
And like, what are like some of the practices within, like, there are so many things people could be into. They could be into Buddhism, meditation, yoga, past lives, crystals. Like, give me some. What are your cornerstone sort of practices?
Yeah, it's there's a lot out there, and I can see where there's like so much to choose from that people then are just like, whatever.
Yeah.
But I think meditation's foundational.
Okay.
Like some kind of quiet, receptive meditation to like quiet your mind and like witness your thoughts. I think every human on the planet should be doing it. Just like at least 5 minutes a day.
I agree.
You know?
Okay.
So I think that's foundational and it can't be overlooked. You know? So I think that's really important. And then whatever practices beyond that, like whether it is like yoga path or like Qigong Taoist path.
Right, you did Qigong this morning.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm into it. It's like, and I'm into yoga too.
Yeah.
You know? So it's like choosing a path and then like being consistent with it. So I think it's being consistent.
Yes.
You know? You can go with whatever you want. You can go with breath work, you can go with yoga, you can go with...
Just do something.
Do it! And do it, keep doing it.
Okay.
Yeah. That would be my number one. Because people are going to have different like connections to different spiritual practices and physical practices depending on like their soul and their past lives. And so you cannot say like what is the best for each person, but it's like you gotta feel into what feels right for you and then continue with it.
Okay.
And then on the deeper level of like actual like spiritual processes and stuff, you have to kind of like there's 6 paths that you can see if you have kind of stuff still sticky around.
6 paths?
Yeah.
Oh.
Where it's like, okay, the categories of like, do you have inner child stuff?
Oh.
Like in trauma, for instance.
Okay.
Do you have anything in like your adolescence that needs to be looked at in your adulthood? Like any kind of like trauma or anything like messy. And then it's like past lives, ancestral, and collective work. Like those are like the categories you can look at and be like...
What was the last one?
Collective.
Collective. What does that mean? Like
anything that energetically that you've taken on from like the collective. So that could be like the city or the country you live in, the culture you live in, just like as sensitive like spiritual people, we take on beliefs, we take on like energies, and we don't even know it, but we're like kind of carrying it around. So
and just to be clear, you're a highly sensitive person.
Yeah.
And you're an empath.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just stating for the record.
For the record.
For the record.
Yeah.
Okay. So each individual person will have their own practice, their spiritual practice, their physical practice, their wellness, based on what's available to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, but just do something.
Yeah, and that's the tricky part, because like in the past for, thousands of years in humanity, all the major religions and spiritual traditions, they had a path to initiation. Like they're like, you do this and you're going to like, ascend, or you're going to like expand,
There's a promise,
reach a certain like level of energy or enlightenment or whatnot. But like right now, those still all exist in the different like religions. Yeah. But I think that a lot of people maybe don't feel as connected to like religious paths particularly, or like that kind of like dogma, I think.
So you think that more and more people are desiring freedom?
Yeah.
To just explore not so much religion but spirituality?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that is awesome, because I think that there's a real freedom in that, where you can like kind of almost pick and choose like a buffet, like what works.
Uh-huh.
But the key is that we're ourselves initiating ourselves, which like it's not a guru or it's not like this set path. So we have to like figure it out ourselves, which kind of gets a little bit harder. Yeah. Like because then it can be like there's so much I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And so I think picking some fundamental paths that have worked and going like all the way with them. Okay. And then again looking at these categories of things you might need to work on, right? Like it's like, okay, past lives are up, or like I need to look at ancestral stuff, right? I need to look at like my inner child. Kind of just like checking those off and being like, is there anything here? Is a good way of going about it.
And you make the decision on how far to pursue things and when to try something based on your own feeling, your own intuition. Yeah. It's just a general feeling about things.
Yeah, and when you start to go in a direction, it will come up. So like you could just start going like down the path of like, oh, I need to heal my inner child trauma because maybe something came up in my childhood. And then all of a sudden you're doing certain trauma release or soul retrieval or whatever it is. And then all of a sudden this past life comes up. Do you know what I mean? So you do need, I think that's why it's like you just need to do something and start going in the direction.
Okay.
And then what will come up next will kind of illuminate itself.
Right. Yeah.
And you'll be like, okay, I've like cleaned out this closet pretty well.
Yeah.
You know, it might get dust again, or there might be like other corners I missed, but like, this is good. No, now what else is like here for me to explore?
I get it. I really do.
Okay, good. You know.
You also like to travel quite a bit.
Yeah,
don't you?
I do.
Is that like? I mean, some people say that traveling is very educational.
Yeah.
In just sort of a life experience sort of way.
Yeah.
Do you find that traveling is important for everybody, and is it kind of a important form of like exploration and growth? Like, why do you like traveling?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think it's really essential. I mean, I don't know what the exact number is, but like in America, because you're Canadian, but in America, a very low percentage of Americans have passports, which means there's a very low percentage of Americans like leaving the country.
Really?
And in my personal experience, I like to understand other people. I'm curious. I feel like everyone has something to like share.
Other cultures,
like other histories, like have something to teach me. I've always had like a really strong desire to understand history and culture.
Yeah.
It's just like part of my interests.
Yeah.
But in doing that and visiting other places, it's like it creates humility, you know, to like open to something new. And then I think that it also expands our minds and makes us realize like that we are also really connected, because there can be a disconnection sometimes of like, oh, well, they're on the other side of the world, like whatever. It's like, no, we're on like one freaking planet, like we're one humanity, you know.
Yeah.
And I think it brings the humanity like in us together.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah, we can think that these people live in a different landscape and eat different food and speak a different language, but yet you can go to some super remote place and connect with people and feel like you're all one a race again.
Yes.
So you seem to also be very intrigued in like ancient, mysterious type sites.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
Have you been to Stonehenge?
Yeah.
Yeah. And where are all your favorite kind of, just off the top of your head? Have you had like really profound experiences in any particular places?
Yeah, I have. These places activate that for me, and I've like learned that about myself. So then I like go, and then I'm like,
you're purposely going.
Yeah.
Hoping for what?
Hoping for some kind of spiritual experience.
Yeah.
If I'm like perfectly honest, because that is one of my ways of activating and ways of remembering. Like other lives or like accessing more memory, you know?
Yes.
And so so it's a catalyst for me, like going to these locations, like open something.
I understand.
You understand?
I do.
Yeah, I know you do.
I get myself, this interview is about Bridget, but I certainly have felt like hooked on, I want something strange and mysterious to happen. And, well, it's just, you know, I try not to get hooked on strange phenomena. I want to just be who I am and practice my practice regardless, but I kind of need the universe to just throw me a little crumb here and there just to keep like leading me forward. I don't know, maybe that's silly, but I really like to have little signs and invitations to keep exploring and going on. Yeah, I certainly had a breakthrough when I came to your Sedona event on the mesa there, and I was waiting all week. I'm like, well, maybe it's just an ordinary week. And then I really had a very interesting personal experience on that last night. So, is there anything you can do to like make yourself available, like for these things, or you just have to go forward and if it happens, it happens, or? Yeah,
well, I mean, like, the place itself, I mean, the thing is you can totally just, like, wake up in your bed, you know, at home. You know, like, you can have, like, powerful experiences just, like, in your house, you know, at home. But one of the reasons that these places open it is because they're on particular ley lines, or they have certain magnetic phenomena, or, like, availability so that, like, it can access in our field.
Yes.
So, like, there is an actual, like, science to, like, why.
Okay.
Which I think is like good to know. It's not just kind of out of I think, like a junky thing. It's like
Yeah.
putting yourself in the field of
Right.
where it can
Like
be available.
I've heard it explained why Sedona has
Yeah.
these so-called vortexes from
Yeah.
a geological perspective.
Yeah.
You know, something in the earth. And,
Yeah.
Well, what do they say about Sedona? Like, what is the legend?
Yeah, I mean, it's highly magnetic. I mean, there's like iron oxide like in the rocks, which makes it like the red rock, so it's highly magnetic.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's quartz crystal like under like all the rock, and then like the thunderstorms and monsoons come, and like it strikes the rock and it like charges the rock, so it like is like a magnetic battery.
I put my hand on Pyramid up
Yeah.
there, on the
the lightning
divot.
Yeah, yeah.
We went there 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But I came up from the other side and I'm like, I know this rock. And I was just kind of pretending like I was like filling my body with the energy.
Yeah.
So maybe I did, maybe I didn't. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, many people come to Sedona, and from what I understand, like people just have kind of transformational experiences. I can't speak much of why, but anyways, it's known for its vortexes.
Yeah.
And its spirituality.
Yeah.
And it's a spiritual mecca. Sedona is.
It definitely
just, let's
is.
face it, go walk around town and look at. There are some very interesting people here.
It is. It's very interesting.
Like crazy interesting.
Crazy interesting. It's one of these places. It's like
It is.
Yeah, it does.
Okay. All right. So our interview is getting on in time. So I just asked a couple more questions, Bridget. I guess I'll say 3 more things. I'll ask you what you're thankful for in everything you've worked on. You've created so much in your life already. Mm-hmm. I consider you a very hardworking person at the things that you care about.
Yeah.
So I'll ask you what you're thankful for today, just for the sake of vocalizing those things.
Yeah.
And where you'd like to go from here.
Yeah.
What you're curious about. And exactly what your contribution is and how people can contact you.
Yeah.
And interact with you.
Okay.
So thankfulness.
Okay. I have to remember all these now.
I'll remind you.
Thank you.
I'll remind you.
It'll work.
Okay.
I'm honestly I'm so grateful for this planet.
Yeah.
I really like Earth a lot.
As opposed to every other planet.
I'm really
Yes.
I'm super into Earth, and I'm extremely grateful to be on this amazing, beautiful planet.
And what about humankind?
And I more and more, not as much when I was little, because I kind of had a bad taste in my mouth with humans, but more and more, I really like humans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're hopeful?
Yeah! I mean, humans have their stuff. We've been through a lot of trauma, and it's passed down in generations, and there's stuff, for sure, and we're cleaning it up slowly but surely. But I do think that there's hope, inherently, there's a lot of good stuff available in humans. And I just see it more and more, and I know that, that might just be my, proximity or something, but that's my experience, so now it's your experience, So I'm really grateful for humanity, and I'm, very, interested in it. And actually, through everything that humans have been through, I think we're doing pretty damn well, actually. From that
Is this an important time, in your opinion?
Yeah.
In history?
Yeah.
I mean, not that every time isn't important, but...
This one's significantly different in the way that, I've been thinking about it from a historical perspective, and, from all time, we were, separate people in these separate, really isolated, countries, and then now, after, World War I and World War II, it was, very nationalistic, and it was, we're fighting you, and we're different, these different countries. And the whole, environmental piece and then the whole internet piece has, brought us together, where it's no, what I do on this side of the planet affects the other side of the planet. So there is definitely, a oneness consciousness that I think is coming up, even in the past, decade, this realization that we, influence each other and that we're connected.
Okay.
For the first time ever. Well, maybe since, Atlantis or something. But for the first time...
It's becoming very real.
Yeah, that, we are one planet. We're not just, these separate countries, and we're not just these separate people. We are, intrinsically connected and influence each other. And I think, that oneness is amazing. It's the first time in history that that's like happened.
So your contribution to the world, your behavior,
Yeah.
is important.
Yeah, it's highly significant, definitely.
Okay.
Because we influence each other. We're like feeling each other, like whether we want to admit it or not.
Mm-hmm.
And so like the more that we
Good or bad.
make that positivity available like within our own field, with the people in everyday life,
Mm-hmm.
and then with the greater like collective, it's definitely very impactful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Well said.
So that's the
I
influence
totally
I
agree with everything you say. All right, so the second question
Yes.
was your future. Where do you think you're heading now? And I mean, I guess we don't really know all that will unfold, but what are you drawn to right now? I guess it's a vague question, but I mean, in the context of Bridget Nielsen, the person who gives information on self-development, and you yourself are trying to be the person, choosing to being the person. That's the example.
Yeah.
Is there a new direction or more of the same?
It is, I guess it would be more of the same, but it's just like more and more clarified. Like, well, one, I want to do my best to like embody like all of the principles that I talk about,
Mm-hmm.
and like any also like spiritual experience or like activation I'm having. Like if I'm talking about the throat chakra, I want to have like fully had that experience and also like know how to take people through that.
Okay.
So I don't want to just like give theory. Like I
Right.
want to like really bring experience to it and like tools to it.
Mm-hmm.
So really digging deeper into like my own like
Mm-hmm.
spiritual abilities and path and just like as a person. So just working on myself and then like delivering any like availability of transmission or tools that would be available. And I'm really interested in there's a lot, but a lot to do with like the earth and like the ley lines and like these sacred sites and like why they do what they do, and giving kind of like a energetic understanding and experience, like bringing it into the experiential and also bringing it into like the why and the how we can use it. So doing a lot more study around that. And then I've been doing personally just a lot of work with like the lower chakras and like really activating that and starting to activate my kundalini and such.
Okay.
And to bring the integration between like the higher spiritual like concepts or energies and like really grounding it like into the earth so that we're very stable and balanced humans.
Okay.
Because I think in spirituality people can just kind of like
Get a bit flighty and a
So
bit
that we
too
can-
ethereal.
so that we can like create and ground things like in this reality and like ground the higher
Yeah,
spiritual
I like
energies.
Yeah. It's never bad to be grounded for any type of person.
It's great. Like grounding is really good.
Yeah.
You know, because then we can go even higher.
But especially more for empaths and just people on this crazy spiritual path.
Yeah.
Who are exploring some really, obscure things. I don't have the language for this.
Yeah.
Okay, so Bridget, it's been a fun interview. So you do one-on-one coaching?
Not anymore.
Oh, you don't?
No.
Oh. Maybe I'll edit this part. Maybe not. Okay. She's booked all up full for the rest of her life. I'm sorry, guys. You still doing your retreats? Okay.
Yeah,
And
I'm
so-
definitely doing retreats.
So a person would go to your website?
Yes.
What's that website?
BridgetNielsen.com.
Okay. And it's kind of a unique spelling, so I'll put it somewhere here.
Yeah.
And anything else? What other contributions have you got?
Well, I'm into, again, like the grounding and the physicalization, which is why we do the retreats. So that you physically come together with other like-minded people, and then you're doing these activities, like, in this place, you know? So it really, like, grounds the experience.
I've done it. It's fantastic.
Thank you.
Yes.
And,
It's a good mixer of... you did your video just this week on different types of retreats.
Yeah.
And then at the end, you said, I don't know if it's about yourself or everybody in general, but sometimes you can get a mixer.
Yeah.
So yours was time in nature and interacting with other like-minded people.
Yeah.
Some kind of meditative parts.
Yep.
Some personal development, like speaking, doing exercises.
Yep.
Healthy food.
Yeah.
What am I forgetting?
That was good. That was great.
We
So
did-
in a sacred site.
Sacred site, yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe some other stuff I've forgotten.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. And I know something you forgot.
What?
Your membership.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's like, because I want to make like every tool that like really does work and it is helpful to people available.
Yeah.
And also to go specific into certain categories, you know? So like each theme or each month we do a new theme. So we'll like work with the inner child or work on relationships or work on lucid dreaming or like all these different subjects.
Okay.
And then so you can have access to the whole archive of like everything we've ever done.
Ooh.
And it's a great group space to like meet awesome like-minded people. And then there's like lots of different meditations and activities. And so it's just kind of this spiritual like hub and like personal
It's an
development
online
hub.
course.
Yeah, that is online. So it's like the most that you can do like by yourself online, you know?
Right.
And then it's like then
To
you're
the max.
Yeah. So
Got it.
that was my intention for that.
That sounds pretty cool. I think I should sign up.
I think you should.
Okay, well, thank you for watching. I'm Ryan. My channel is Endless Journey. Anything else you want to say, Bridget?
Thank you, and thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much for letting me do the interview.
Yeah.
Honor and a privilege.
Thanks for having me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I always say peace and love at the end.